This is number 15, and I've just realised that I've got my big fleece on, and the reason I've got my big fleece on is because I've been stuck in my shed and I'm freezing. Anyway, this is number 15, and this one here is payback period. Now this is the third part of investment appraisal, and once again we've got the same example up here. £20 million investments, we get back £10 million year one, £20 million year two, £20 million year three. Now payback, what does it show? It shows this is the amount of time it takes to recoup the cash outlay of the investment. So it's pretty obvious on this one here that it's going to take us 1 year, 6 months to pay back 20 million, because on the first year we get 10 million and by the end of the second year we got 30 million. So it's clearly under 2 years, and we need another 10 million in the second year, and overall we get 20 million. So 10 divided by 20 is 0.6. Sorry, 10 divided by 20 is 0.5, which is like 6 months of the year. Okay, so we can work it out, but we want to do it technically because sometimes the numbers are not as easy as that. So clearly, once again, in this case, it's obviously 1 year, but it's under 2 years. Now the key equation here is the amount required. So we got 10 million here, we need another 10 million to get 20. So the amount required is 10. And in that year, we get 20 million quid in the whole of that year. So we go over to how you work it out. Under 2 years, 1 year, 10 divided by 20, that is equal to 0.5. There are 12 months in a year. Okay, 0.5 times 12. So the answer is 1 year, 6 months. The big advantage, actually I've just looked up in the book, and the book is really, it's not wrong, but it's not really right. They just say it's easy. Oh great, well it is easy to work out. But the really, really big advantage is that it takes into account cash flow. And cash flow is crucial for business, particularly with a new investment. So you're suddenly investing 20 million quid and your cash flow is going to take a massive hit. So that's your cash flow on there. And the disadvantage is, number one, it ignores money after the payback period. So once you paid it back, if this figure here was 20 million or if it was 100 million, the answer would still be 1 year, 6 months. It doesn't take into account profitability, but that's why we use the average rate of return. It also doesn't take into account the time value of money, which is all the way down here. Hopefully you can see that. But that's why we use the net present value. Okay, so we're now starting to build up a picture of this particular investment, which is clearly a good one, which we can see that straight away. However, this is how we do it. The NPV is 20.1 million, so we make 20.1 million pounds in today's money. The average rate of return is 50%, which is pretty good. And the ROIS, previously the firm was only making 2.5%, so obviously the new investment is a good idea. And finally, the payback period is 1 year, 6 months. So therefore we know that we only really need to borrow money for 2 years, assuming that these figures here are correct, which they may or may not be. So if we look at that, we go to the bank manager and we say, look, we're going to get an average rate of return of 50%, so net present value 20.1 million on this project. It's going to take us 2 years to pay back. They should say yes. Okay, so that's how we use these figures to look at investment appraisal. Thank you.